all of the screens, both in this building and in the elevators over there.
Are there existing guidelines for the existing screens?
There were some preliminary discussions before any of the screens were put up, and none of that came to fruition. So I think those are some discussions that I think it would probably be better suited in policy and governance to have those discussions. So I would recommend that we get that on policy and governance sometime in the near future.
You want me to put that on policy and governance?
Sure.
Okay.
Any other questions or discussion?
Just make sure that it's broad enough that we can discuss more than just that.
If no further discussion, I have a motion to receive report.
Second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item number 3, discussion and possible action to enter into a new service agreement with Vicinity, our steam and chilled water vendor.
For those that may not be aware, Dawn, Vicinity is the company that has the central plant for downtown Oklahoma City that generates chilled water and steam, which we use on this complex. So the courthouse, the annex, the Investors Capitol building, and the jail. The jail over here is the farthest building away from their plant, which is located at Broadway and I believe Sheridan. Last year marked the 20-year period where the original contract had expired. The contract at the time it was entered into called for the removal of the chillers that we had here and the decommissioning of the boilers that we used in favor of simply allowing Vicinity to, at the time, Trigen, to pipe in and provide us with that. Last year, the original agreement expired, and so we've been struggling a little bit trying to get a new agreement with Vicinity. They're, as I understand it, a French company, and so there have been delays. Spoke with their engineer here locally last week, and he said that they have a template for a contract formulated. He has put in the specifics that he would like to see and has sent that back for an additional review. I asked what some of the changes might be, and the big one that he told me was that our previous contract, we paid the natural gas costs, they call them pass-through costs, directly, and so to Vicinity. So again, their chillers and their turbines are all natural gas driven. Those pass-through costs that we had to pay, we would be subject to price spikes, and we enjoyed prices when they were low sometimes. He's talking about removing that pass-through feature was the major part of the contract that they were going to change. So I've not seen it. He said we ought to have something here in a couple weeks.
Any questions or discussion for Keith on this item?
Motion to receive update.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, it's been motion and seconded. All in approval?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item number 4, discussion and possible action regarding an update from staff on capital projects to TIF District Number 2 for Oklahoma County regarding new front entrance and perimeter securing projects. Space allocation for Crooks Books, first floor west.
We're in possession of 100% plans and specs for the new purchasing office up on 3, which will be the first domino to fall to make this project happen. So we're starting to see some movement on it now. We should have that out on the street to bid this month. And secure a contractor to build it.
Any questions for Stacy or discussion? Did you?
Motion to receive report.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, it's been for motion and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item number 5, discussion and possible action regarding TIF 2A budget.
The TIF 2A is the newest one. That's our $5 million agreement with the city. Had a good meeting with the city last week. We're working on substituting some projects away from that list that we got funded through ARPA and get some new ones on the list. We'll bring some new project ideas to you in future meetings to substitute out and get, 2A going. The first project on that will probably be the ICB. We've had some movement on the ICB, so we'll get that one going soon. And it was in the original list, so it won't change.
Any questions or discussions for Stacy?
Motion to receive update.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item number 6, discussion and possible action regarding the capital improvement list to include but not limited to scope, funding, schedule, and incidentals.
Okay, I just mentioned the ICB external project is moving again. May have some new information or start again in maybe 1st of March, Keith.
As early as tomorrow.
Oh, good. Okay. Very good. The 6th floor, the blinds were installed since the last meeting. Gotten good feedback on that. We're still waiting on a part so we can have the HVAC controls that's been ordered. Started up the egress from the 11th floor in the courthouse. That project's moving again. And the sheriff's office at Krause. We're having some active meetings with the architect on that project.
Any questions for Stacy?
The blinds are really good in our office.
They do. Not blinded anymore by the light.
All right, do I have a motion to receive report?
Motion received.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Item number 8. No, that is, all right, 7, discussion and possible action regarding the ARPA projects list to include, but not limited to scope, funding, schedule, and incidentals.
The owner's rep that we had selected for all these projects, the scope is complete, and my office and Chantel's offices reviewed it. We're right now doing the fee negotiation with that particular vendor, and we should have that buttoned up this month and have an active owner's rep on board with us. As far as projects go, the first one that we were working on was the juvenile justice lobby. All we're waiting for is a notice to proceed, and the contractor's all geared up and ready to go on that. We purchased that off from OMES at the state through their JOC program. I gave you an email. It's not been good news. The state's messing around with that program. I don't know exactly what they're doing, but you have an email in front of you that talks about it. Contacted the person that's listed on that to give our support for the program. It's been a good one, and we would like to move forward with it, or it's really going to set us back. And if you know any of these people who can help us at all with OMES, it'd be great.
So we're just at a standstill right now on that project.
Yes.
All right, any questions or discussion for Stacy?
No.
You have a motion to approve the report?
So moved.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item number 8, discussion and possible action to present an update on the meetings of the Citizens Oversight Advisory Board.
All right, the last meeting you'd asked for more information on the workshop that was planned in April. I've laid that in front of you as well. It's actually a workshop put on by the National Institute of Corrections. It's endorsed by the Justice Department. Looks like a pretty good training program. The middle of the first page there says who your target audience is to attend that 3-day workshop. Should really help us with our new jail project. I think you all have those dates. I've sent them to you when that actually is gonna be.
I think we talked about it last time, didn't we?
We talked about it, but I just didn't have this document to share with you. So as that workshop agenda becomes more solidified, I'll keep sending it to you. And the draft RFQ for the architect, I believe you all have a copy of that. So does the COAB board. Our first meeting will be on the 22nd of this month to discuss that. And then again on the 28th, and we'll probably get that on the street, I hope. And the land procurement piece is already on the street. I'll let Chantel update you on what's going on with that.
Will you send me, do I already have the dates for the workshop? Did you say they're not set or they are set?
They're set.
Oh, okay.
I thought I'd send them, but I'll send them again just
Thank
in
you.
case.
The RFP for the jail land is going rather well. I haven't had an enormous amount of feedback to my office, but I think that there have been several interested parties, so I've been able to push out the RFP to more direct contact, so I think that's good. A lot of them government agencies, as they become more aware of what we're doing, and a lot of them already are. I have made a lot of good contacts with Oklahoma City, ODOT, as well as Commissioner of the Land Office, and had a really good discussion with them. They have several pieces of property. They would love to partner with us. However, there are procedures in place where they would not come to us with those properties, much like what the solicitation outlines. It would be a different process where we would go to them and request, and they have a procurement process that we would follow through, whether it be lease or purchase of sale. There's auctions that would have to be followed. I think we're going to realize that on other levels if there are government property that will be considered, and that'll be discussed at the next meeting with the Citizens Oversight Committee. And so that's what I have right now. Those are due March 3rd, 6th. Those are due on March 6th. So we still have a little bit of time. We're just working through the different questions that come in and interested parties. So if there's any questions, I can speak to that.
So do you wait and get a direction from the Oversight Committee on whether you pursue any of those, or do you automatically just on the different government?
No, that is correct. So whenever the RFPs are received, when the proposals are received, those will be received at a BOCC meeting. It's expected that they'll direct those to the Oversight Committee for review, and then we will work closely with them to review each of the proposals that are received, as well as any information that has been received by any government entities at that time. So in the RFP, it's outlined that government property can be considered up till about June 2nd. So we'll have a window of time to work with maybe any property that has a lot of procedures that have to be followed in public meetings and things like that that would have to be adhered to.
Any other questions or discussion?
Is there anything in the RFP that would prohibit us from requesting more information from those other governmental entities ahead of the March 6th closing of this particular RFP?
Not at all. We have those allowances being government to government transactions in the statutes. It's identified in the RFP that is allowable, that Oklahoma County will be considering all avenues regarding property within Oklahoma County. So there is public notice on that. The conversation is open, and we would be allowed to do that.
Right, so it seems like it might be a little bit of a, not necessarily convoluted, but an extended process when dealing with those other governmental entities. So if we wait to reach out and begin more in-depth discussions after we open the rest of the bids on March 6th, that gives us a 1 month window. Is there any reason that we wouldn't begin those processes now?
She's been reaching out.
I understand. She said that she's reached out, but we have to submit something to them, is what I heard.
Right, if those properties would be considered. So the list of properties I planned to take to the Oversight Committee, but if they need to be heard here, I can bring them here and have an agenda item on for that.
Okay.
there's a lot of properties that may not qualify, but at least it can be discussed.
Right, and
Size
what
and
I'm thinking
location.
is, why would we wait until after March the 6th to start looking at those properties to vet?
Sure.
Okay.
Is it this committee that wants to hear them? I would just need to put an agenda item on for that. I just didn't know if, would that be here? Would that be the oversight advisory committee?
I think it'd be the oversight advisory.
That was my impression. I just want
Yeah.
to make sure that's clear.
And what did you
Okay.
say the amount was so far? I heard you say like you've had some good feedback, but I didn't.
From government entities, I've spoken with 3, Oklahoma City, ODOT, and Commissioner of the Land Office. For what would be considered private, or whether private owners or commercial, I think I've had 3 or 4, a couple of those being brokers asking for more information to look into. The main question I'm getting is, can I email this to you? And the answer is no, it's a sealed bid process and it's outlined in the RFP. That's about the extent we've been so far.
Thank you.
But
No
you've
problem.
received none thus far.
I have received no envelopes, no emails, no nothing. No.
Okay.
Just a
And-
couple phone calls.
Any other questions or a motion to approve?
Motion to receive report.
Second.
Okay, it's been motioned and seconded to receive the report. All in favor, say aye. All right, item number 9. Discussion and possible action related to the application of federal funding through the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant. The ECBG State Grant Program assists eligible states, municipal local government, and Indian tribe in equitable workforce and community investment opportunities. The predetermined funds allowance in the amount of $79,740 is to be issued to Oklahoma County. Oklahoma County may expend funds on PBA properties if permissible, and our grant funds to the PBA if permissible for eligible projects. The proposed projects include implementation of LED lighting, solar charging panels in Metro 1 and 2, and electric charging stations in Metro 1 and 2. The application will be completed and submitted online by Nikki Morton, Oklahoma County Grant Administrator. Application deadline is 2023, 8 p.m. Nikki, would you like to speak to this?
Do you guys have any questions for me?
I don't. We visited on this, and I think you've provided us with ample information. I think the one thing that I would bring up, just to be clear, when you've got if permissible between the county and PBA, that's a if permissible between those two entities. It doesn't have to do with the permissibility from the grant. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Any other questions or discussion? All right, is a motion to receive the brief report or answer? Do you have any other questions?
Nikki, what type of motion would you want here? Just for us to receive, or do you want direction to move forward with the application?
Both. And I guess pass it to the other committee for today, to make sure that they can pass it to.
Yeah, it's on the other committee, so we wouldn't pass it over to there because
Okay.
it's a separate entity. But I would be happy to make a recommendation to authorize Nikki to apply for this grant.
All right, do you have a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Thank you.
All right, do we have any citizens here for citizen participation? No. All right, seeing none, board comments, District 1,
None.
District 3.
No.
I would just like to congratulate Joe on his second chosen victor of the Super Bowl, winning his primary one. Is there any new business? All right, seeing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
You sure do.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I need it back. Anyone need help getting back in? Okay, all right. I don't see a back key once I get to that screen. Thank you. All right, I'll call to order at 10:24, PBA Advisory Committee. Notice of property posted on February 9th, 2023. First item on the agenda is number 1 is approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 I'm not getting a prompt. Do I need to say something? Continue.
All right, item number 2 is discussion and possible action regarding Investors Capital Building exterior building envelope project.
Recall that the PBA released and terminated the contract at the last meeting with Landmark Construction. I have a meeting tomorrow afternoon with Principal John Ward of TAP Architecture to chart a course forward.
Any questions for Keith?
Good luck, Keith. Motion to receive update.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to receive the update. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, item number 3, discussion and possible action regarding ARPA capital projects, construction of new facilities or renovation of existing, including but not limited to project design, anticipated start and completion dates, anticipated project bid lettings and project award dates, and utilization of construction management firm to oversee and represent the county's best interests in all ARPA capital projects. Stacy, do you have anything to?
Kind of discussed when we did the ARPA on the last meeting. Basically, most of the list is county projects, and then the PBA is a sub-recipient of some ARPA funds on about 4 projects. And so the 4 they're sub-recipient on would be the camera security system in the PBA buildings, the ICB elevator, and the Metro 1 and 2 elevators. That's the 4 projects that's been approved. And I answer any questions on those. I think the only one moving right now is the camera system project. Chantel may have some more information on it.
Just a quick question. Now that the situation has changed with the sheriff's office, they're staying at Kraus. There was an ARPA approval to build a new facility for emergency management. Now that they're staying at Kraus, do we not need to move that approval from the county over to the PBA side?
Perhaps the emergency ops center is in the list. You're saying move it down as a sub-recipient. That's Yeah.
What's going to be enhancements to a PBA property at this point, so.
Yeah, I think that's right. I'll move it down to the next meeting.
All right. Any other discussion? Motion to
Does
receive report.
Chantel have something, or is she getting up for the next item?
Thank you. I don't know.
Keith wanted me to speak to elevators that were, I don't know what you're wanting me to say.
Oh, no, we had an elevator contractor that's currently working in the courthouse who intended to use the Omnia Cooperative Purchasing Agreement to position himself to do the elevators in the ICB and in Metro 1 and 2. It was determined that that Omnia contract, insofar as elevator work is concerned, does not apply, and so we'll have to go out to bid for that work.
And it doesn't apply on this project because it's an ARPA project and the different requirements, or is this?
No, this would be whether or not the cooperative contract meets our state and local laws for Title 61. And not that it doesn't comply, but
Okay,
that we
yeah.
haven't reviewed completely. The review is not complete. So there are some things that have not been received from the cooperative contract agency on that. So it's not finalized, and I didn't give the green light at all to go in that direction.
And so my point is, this serves to delay further moving on those projects.
Yeah.
Maybe for my own understanding, I don't believe there's a PBA subrecipient agreement in place at this time. Is there?
I don't think
Which
so.
I haven't been moving forward on any of those projects. Is okay.
I don't believe so. Hopefully,
Okay.
that should be forthcoming. I would.
Just making
Soon.
that's the other delay, if you will, that I'm not putting a lot of resources into those projects yet, because without an agreement, those would not be realized.
Well, but we will have a subrecipient agreement between the county and PBA. So I understand not moving forward past,
A purchase
A
order being
shovel-ready.
issued, and yes,
yeah.
no
but-
purchase orders are being issued towards those.
But
Now,
we can
compliance
still
review,
line
that's in-
everything up, and that
Those
way,
are all-
when we have that, we can immediately move.
Yep. Yes. Yep.
Subrecipient list just became more important than we moved the emergency ops center down there.
All of those have been in discussion and being reviewed. Just no purchase orders are being issued.
Any other discussion or questions? Motion to approve the report.
Motion received.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to receive the report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item number 4, discussion and possible action regarding the seeking of bids for the demolition of the 5th floor of the Investors Capitol Building. Any report, update?
Simply waiting,
Okay, no update, no report there. Number 5, discussion and possible action related to the application of federal funding through the EECBG. The state grant program assists eligible states, units, local government, tribes to yield sustained long-term impacts of energy emission reductions and equitable workforce and community investment opportunities. The predetermined funds allowances amount $79,740 is to be issued to Oklahoma County. Oklahoma County may expend funds on PBA properties if permissible, and our grants to PBA if permissible for eligible projects. The proposed projects include the implementation of LED lighting, solar charging panels in Metro 1 and 2, electric vehicle charging stations in Metro 1 and 2. The application will be completed and submitted online by Nikki Morton, Oklahoma County Grant Administrator. The application deadline is April 28th, 2023, 8 p.m.
Motion to authorize Ms. Morton to apply for this grant.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 I would like to say while we're still on this item, I appreciate Ms. Morton's work. She's new to the county. The grant writing position is new to the county, and she's hit the ground running and really helping us. So I really appreciate all your work.
Thank you, Nikki. Are there any citizens' participation? Board comments, District 1,
None.
District 3,
None.
none here. Is there any new business? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Too quick.
Oh, do I need to second?
Yeah,
Is it
just-
easier?
yeah.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Sorry, I'm
No.
going in a different direction.